flow.
Hello, everyone. I would like to welcome you to OTS Connects. Thank you for giving of your time on this snowy evening to join us. I'm Syria Skirhan, facilitator and coordinator of the OTS Professional Development Project. It's my pleasure to welcome Chris Allen from the Investors Education Fund. I'm very grateful to Chris, who has given their time and facilitated numerous OTS Connects webinars over the last 2 years. Thank you, each of you, for joining us, and welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Syria. Okay. All right, I've just got our map up here. So as part of our recording, we capture where we're all hanging out tonight, and we've got Brampton and Huntsville as well. And I'm just going to advance the slide one more time, Chris, and you can take it away.
Wonderful, thank you. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I know that we have Cheyenne's here, Sharon's here, Shweta stepped away. Can I just get a sense of what grades you teach? I know this is for elementary, so if you can just use the chat feature and let me know, that'd be awesome. Oh, sorry. If you can just use the chat feature and just let me know what grade you teach. Okay, so we have a mixture. Oh, okay, so we can cover 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. And I have lots of resources. If you would take a moment, Louise is just, and you also teach 3. Okay, that's fine. We have lots of resources for everyone. Louise has just added a pre-survey link on the chat feature. If you wouldn't mind taking a minute, and honestly it only takes a minute, to just fill out the survey for us, that would be great. We're trying to measure impact of our webinars, our teacher workshops. So we're asking people to complete a pre-survey and a post-survey, so it'll just take a minute, and if you can do that right now, I'd appreciate it. This is definitely an elementary workshop. No, you're in the right spot. Just give me a little check mark if you're done with the survey, and then I'll continue on. Louise, do I have access to advance my slides?
Goodness gracious, I forgot to give you moderator privileges. There you go.
Thank you. Okay, well, let me start talking. I know, Sharon, you're going to catch up in a minute, and we'll be done, which is great. Welcome. This session is to introduce you to financial literacy. I will be speaking about resources and providing you with some, hopefully, strategies and tips on how to integrate this in your elementary classroom. So what we're going to cover in this session really is why teach it, how the Investor Education Fund can help you, what resources are available for your curriculum. So who exactly is the Investor Education Fund? We're a non-profit organization founded and supported by the Ontario Securities Commission. If you're not aware of who the Ontario Securities Commission are, they're the province's regulator for the investment industry. As a regulator, they have the ability to impose fines. So those settlement monies and those fines are turned over to the fund for financial education purposes. So what we do is we have a program where we help consumers make better financial decisions. And I'm going to see if this helps. Through our website, we have a website for consumers called getsmarteraboutmoney.ca, and then we also have a website for teachers, our teaching site called inspirefinanciallearning.ca, which is really where I'm going to spend a lot of time and show you some of the different tools, resources, and how they can work for you. Okay? So what are our teaching resources? Curriculum-based lesson plans, tools, help you introduce financial concepts, develop and assess financial knowledge. But before we start talking about the different tools, the resources, what I thought we'd do is just take a moment and have a little bit of fun. This is an activity that I use and that you can probably use if you wanted to look at how to introduce or get your students thinking about financial literacy. It's a great minds-on. It's a 4 corners activity. I'm hoping that you can hear me well. This 4 corners activity is one where we take images of animals and we put them in different corners of the room: a lion, a seal, a deer, and a beaver. And I would ask you, how would you spend $10,000? And based on how you spend that $10,000, I say, choose the animal that best reflects your financial personality and then go to that corner. So with your students, you could probably do this and maybe not ask $10,000, or maybe you ask $10,000 and say, how would you spend $100? But for you, I'm saying, how would you spend $10,000? And if you take a moment and think about it, and then using the chat feature, because it looks like everyone does not have a mic, just tell me what animal would best relate to your spending behavior and why you chose that animal. Okay, so you're a beaver, Sharon, you're a worker thinking about family, 2 boys at university level. Okay. Beaver, I like to keep track of it and get the best. And I think I'm I'm serious a seal. Okay. And I'm a beaver at heart, a seal in reality. So no lions and no deers. The beauty of this is it's an activity that you can use to get your students moving and thinking about money and spending habits and spending behaviors. No right or wrong answer. When we do this, I usually get lions, seals, beaver, and maybe the odd deer. So let's start with beaver because it looks like everyone's a beaver, or the majority are beavers. And beavers are typically hard workers, so that attitude translates to managing their money well, saving for it, being prepared for the future, so planning, tracking, which is perfect. Perfect, bang on, you guys are great. Seals, and could be because this seal is actually juggling a ball. It's someone who's always trying to balance or juggle their finances. And it could be that sometimes they drop the ball and they have to pick it back up again. I think I'm a seal. Sometimes I do a really good job balancing my spending, and sometimes I drop the ball and I get right back up and I pick it up. But the seal's also a hard worker, so no bad habits there. The lion was really interesting. So I had teachers that say to me, well, the lion's very aggressive, so they go out and they spend all the money, they get everything they want. But I had someone else said, yes, that's the lion in me. I would go out and I would spend my money, but I like to pounce on deals. So although I'm spending all my money, I'm spending it only when I get a deal. Someone else said to me, well, I'm a lion, I'm king of the jungle because I'm aggressive in my behavior, so I'm very risky with my money. I take a lot of chances with it. Again, great answers. It's how you look at the different traits within the animals. And deers are kind of cool because you have people who say, you give me $10,000, I'd be like a deer in the headlights. I wouldn't know what to do with all that money. Then I have someone else say to me, well, I'm a deer because deers are very skittish creatures. So they're very careful, they're very risk averse. They would probably just hang on to the money and not know what to do with it. Similar to a deer in the headlights, you know, oh, what do I do with it? Skittish nature for that person, not quite sure, wouldn't want to risk any of the dollars. But again, great activity, great minds on, a nice way to get your students thinking and talking about money. All right, so we did a minds on, but really I talked to you about really why do we need it? Why do we have to teach it? I know it's mandated, but it's got to be a better reason than just because it's mandated. It's also a life skill. Everybody needs to know how to balance their budget. But what we also know at IES is that when we spoke to students, we interviewed or surveyed 400 Ontario high school students to ask them, you know, what were their concerns about with respect to money. And many students, grades 9 to 10, 9, 10, 11, 12 said, you know, they're concerned about paying for post-secondary. And in 2012, average cost of post-secondary student debt upon graduation was about $27,000. So we said, okay, your main concern is paying for post-secondary. So we asked students to tell us, what are they saving for? And if you take a moment and look at it, I've got 5 items. If you can tell me what you think number 1 item is that did save for, and number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So in the chat feature, and I know this will take a minute, just write down what you think number 1 would be, and then put a 1 beside it, and then 2 beside what you think would number 2, and then I'll give you what their actual stats are.
Go ahead, Shweta.
These are high school students, this current generation, not like when I was in high school or when what I was like when I was a high school student here. I'm
This
looking
current
for clarification.
generation.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Louise, you've given a lot of thought to this. You got it right off the bat. I'll tell you that the #1 answer I get from teachers is that teenagers are saving for a car. The #1 answer. Okay, so you're close, but not quite there. If you look at it, you'll see some of you said clothing is #2. Clothing was the #1. I noticed that you also chose computer or technology, and that was #3. Entertainment, that's movies, you know, hanging out with their friends, fast food was #2. Fourth item was gifts, which I thought was kind of cool. Nice that they're planning and thinking about friends and family. And the fifth item was education. But the #1 concern that they told us they had with respect to money was actually paying for their post-secondary education. But where does it fall in their saving pattern? It falls in as #5 in terms of priority. So we know that it's a bit of a disconnect, but hopefully we'll be able to help them manage their finances better so that they do a better job. This survey was taken in Ontario. In 2012, we went across the province, small sample, 400 students, roughly half and half, male, female, and again, roughly 100 within the grade 9s, 10s, 11s, and 12s. And we did it in rural and urban centers. So we did try to cover the province. Okay? So we know there's a disconnect. IEF surveyed the students. We said, okay, what can we do? How can we help them? You have to teach us. How can we make life easier for you, simpler for you? Ministry has mandated that you teach this in your curriculum starting from grades 4 to 12. So we've developed lesson plans for 4 to 12. But that's not to say that you can't use any of these lesson plans and integrate it in grades 3, grades 2. I even have teachers who look at the lessons and say they can do it in kindergarten. And it is supposed to be integrated in all subjects in the curriculum. So that would be mathematics, language, social studies, science, phys ed, history, geography, all those topics. Many teachers, when they hear that, they say, well, what are those expectations? Where would those expectations live? Have any of you seen and if you just put a check mark next to your name, that'd be fine, seen the scope and sequence document document that came out for financial literacy. So Sharon, you've seen it. Shweta, you've not seen it. And Cheyenne, you're not sure. Oh, Cheyenne, you've seen it. Okay. So what you've seen is the ministry has actually said, here are a couple expectations from one subject area in this particular grade, and I'll choose art, in art. And if you look at a couple of these expectations, you can use that to make a financial literacy correlation or connection. We've done the same in our lesson plans. We've also said, oh, the scope and sequence document is very easy to find. If you go to the EduGains site, which is edugains.ca, they have a financial literacy gains page on there. They've redesigned the site. So they've just done it, I think last week I was on there, and even today I was on there. So now you go to edugains.ca, there's financial literacy gains, and if you click on financial literacy gains, right on the home page, you will see scope and sequence document for elementary and the scope and sequence document posted for secondary. So hopefully that's easier for you to find. Okay? So knowing that you have the resource to help you make those connections and those curriculum links to financial literacy, when we developed our lesson plans, we said, well, how are teachers also supposed to know what financial concepts they can use or would be appropriate to teach at those grade levels? So we worked with OISE and we came up with what we call our financial literacy concept map. And this is just to give you an idea as to some of those skills or some of those financial concepts that you can teach in grade 4, in grade 6, in grade 9, in grade 12. If we could post that link to the concept map in the chat feature, Louise, that'd be great. And I'll ask you to take a quick link so you can actually link to it on our website and just read it. Shweta, I think you're grade 3. So your grade 3s, you would likely be able to look at these and say, you can teach this in grade 3. And when you look at our lessons and see what those links are, you'll be easily able to adapt them in grade 3. Oh, Louise, I'm just talking to you. Didn't realize that you left. Can we post the link to the concept map in the chat feature?
Absolutely. Let me grab that for you. Here we go. Sorry about that, folks. I'm going to also post the EduGains link in the chat so you've got that too. So in the web tour space, you should now see that document.
Wonderful. So if you were to take a look at the concept map, it really is just to give you a sense that as you go through the different grades, you are building upon those skills. So in the lower grades, you might look at money basics and say, you know what, you want them to understand financial symbols and terminology and develop financial vocabulary. As they get older and they go up to different grades, by grade 12, they should be using financial terminology fluently, in grade 12. And the same with if you were to teach concept of saving money, later on you'll be teaching them about the different vehicles that they can use to save money. So this is to give you a sense of what you can teach at the different grade levels, appropriate at the right ages. By no means is it complete. It is just to give you a sense of some of those skills. Now, we deliberately left some blank boxes. If you look at the lower grades, you'll see in grades 4 to 8, under planning for the future, we really didn't put anything on there. And the reason and rationale for that was that in those grades, the students really are not thinking about their future, and they're not planning for their future. I know my nephew's in grade 5, and his future is, if he just finished breakfast, what's for lunch? He's really not worried about tomorrow, next week, never mind 2 years from now, and planning for his future. Okay? So that concept map is available, and it's on our website. Gives you a good sense of where we are. Now, if we can go back to our PowerPoint. Great. We'll talk a little bit now about our lesson plans. So our lesson plans actually follow the Ontario format, 3-part format, where we have minds on, action, consolidation. I'm going to show you 2 different types of lessons. One we'll look at first is Pennywise, where it is a math lesson and they're learning to count, but they're also learning to estimate, because we in Ontario we've eliminated the penny, so students need to know to count up or round up or round down. We also have another lesson, and this one's for language, and it's all focused on media literacy and helping students make good decisions, understanding that advertising is out there to help influence their purchasing decisions. So if we can take a look now at the lessons. So we can start with Pennywise. And if you were to look at Pennywise, and let me just, I'm hoping you guys are seeing the same thing I'm seeing. And it tells you at the very top, they learn how to round prices, and then it tells you, and it tells you what subject it's for, mathematics. It tells you what those financial literacy objectives could be. And then you'll actually see that we put or include that expectations for math in there that you can meet using this particular lesson. So as we continue scrolling down, we tell you about the assessment, what you need, then the minds on. So I won't read it. I'll give you a second to, not a second, but I'll give you like, a minute to scroll through the lesson, take a look at it, see what the action is, see the consolidation, see what those appendices are that are provided for the lesson. And then we'll take a look at another one. And I'll also ask you to consider, as you're looking at the lessons, think about your grades. I know we have someone in grade 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's have someone who's in grade 4. Now I have teachers who are in grade 4 that will say to me they've looked at a grade 4 lesson, can easily use it. They'll look at a grade 5 lesson and they can easily use it too and adapt it. So I think it's Shweta. You're still here, right? You're grade 3. If you look at this, you might say, oh, I can see how this would fit in my grade 3 curriculum, in mathematics, and I might even be able to use this by just adapting it a little bit. So take a look at that, think about how you could adapt it, how you could use it, or it may even give you a good idea. Oh, you're already teaching this. Wonderful. Good. We love feedback. So if you have feedback, I'll give you my contact information at the end. Feel free to share it with me. I am more than happy to take feedback. It's always nice to get good feedback. And it's also always nice to get constructive feedback to say, hey, if you do this, it'll be an even better lesson. So that's great for us to hear. So if you are finished with Pennywise, and I chose 2 different lessons from 2 different subject areas so that you can see how in mathematics, many teachers will say, I can see how I can make those financial literacy connections. We want you to see how you can make those financial literacy connections in a non-mathematics subject, such as language. So if you were to take a look now at the next lesson. Yes? Go ahead.
And it's interesting how the pictures you used are used in the money denominations. They're not American, but they're not Canadian either. But yeah, they're their own. There was one more part and I just lost. Oh yeah, the consolidation mind zone very much is what they want us to do when we are doing our lessons. So like that part too, how it's broken down.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good. The money, we did not use images of currency, just because you really aren't allowed to copy Canadian currency, and we weren't going to draw it out, so we just decided to sketch it, and using our logo, we made up our own money. So it is play money. Hopefully that is okay.
Would you like to go back to the whiteboard now, Chris, or do you want to go straight to the other lesson plan you'd like to share?
So let's go to the other lesson, because I'd love for them to take another look at a non-math lesson, because as I was saying, and I hear this from teachers, well, how do you incorporate it in if I'm not teaching math? Or if in secondary school, they say, if I'm not teaching business, how do I incorporate in those other subjects? So again, what influences our spending, and I'll shut up so you can take a minute to review the lesson, scroll through it. Oh well, how did you relate this to technology, Sharon? Okay, so feel free again to share any comments you may have about the lesson as you've reviewed it. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So you're actually talking about the products that they were marketing. And okay. Yeah, that's great. You know what? And students, they're so keen on new technology. I bet you they were very engaged and interested in the lesson and learned a lot. So that's great. So there, another good example of how to tie this in to financial literacy, because you know what? This is where you can use real life examples. Talk about the fact that Apple comes out with a new product, and you put it out, and already they're marketing that this new one is better than the one you currently have, and all of a sudden students, they don't want the old one because now it's no longer new. They want to spend money on the new one. So, gosh, what a great lesson. All right, so if we can now go back to our PowerPoint, that'd be great. All right, so you've seen an example of two lessons, one in mathematics and one in language. And now I'm going to show you one, and very obvious. It's one where we ask students to build a tower, and I don't think we actually need to go look at the lesson, so I'll give you an overview and ask you to think about this. This is a lesson where we say to students, you have a budget, you have to buy items from me in order to build a tower, and you have to build the highest tower within or using that budget that you have. Now, I did this with teachers, and I said to them, it is a math lesson, but if you could think about it, we're giving them a budget, they can buy items, and they can build a structure. What other subjects would this particular activity translate well in, or would this particular activity adapt well with? How else can you use it? What grades? Because this tower building activity is a grade 6 activity. I've had teachers say to me that they can do it and I won't tell you just yet. I want to see if, oh, structures in science. Perfect. So I had somebody say to me that they did this in grade 9 in science, but they didn't build a tower, but they used it to build, and I don't even know the term, I had to look it up. They used it to build alleles. Certainly in mathematics, what they were doing was, one teacher said, well, I didn't actually get my students to build the tallest tower, but I asked them using their budget to make as many shapes as possible, geometric shapes as possible, that they could build into a structure. So there are different ways to take that same idea and translate it, and it's great because Sharon, I know that you do from, I believe it's 4 to 6, 4 to 7. And Shweta, no, Sharon, you do 5 to 7. And Shweta, you do 3, which is great that you're doing this with science. So really, my sense is to show you that the lessons are adaptable, easy to use. Okay? The next one that I'm going to show you, and again, this is another cross-curricular one. How many of you have actually made a duct tape wallet with your class, or know how to make a duct tape wallet? And you can just use a check mark and that'd be fine. Okay. So the duct tape wallet activity is one that we have that is really for grades 4. This particular activity is used in art and it is used in mathematics. In art, students make a 2-dimensional object, 3-dimensional object. In mathematics, they learn to measure out the duct tape that's required. They know to cut it out. They actually have to make a duct tape that is functional, a duct tape wallet that is functional. So one that you can actually put in money, one that you can actually fit a library card. And when I did this as a test with students, because I wanted to see if students could follow the instructions, I gave everybody a business card. And I said, when you make your pocket, my business card has to fit in that pocket. So this particular activity is one that's very adaptable, very transferable. It works in math, it works in art, it works in media literacy. I had somebody say to me, well, my grade 8s are going to make duct tape wallets for a fundraising project, and they're going to have to devise a whole marketing campaign around it. Okay? I did this in service for some teachers. And one teacher was so excited, he actually did it with his class. And then he went and he told another teacher who knew me and came back and told me that he used my activity, which is nice to hear. So for the lower grades, what we do, and how do I explain this? For the lower grades, when I tell teachers to do the lower grades, we don't have them make duct tape wallets from scratch, meaning that I don't ask the teachers to have them cut out strips of duct tape and then put the duct tape pieces together to build the wallet. You know what? You would be doing it forever. They have a very hard time cutting. They have a hard time pulling out that tape from the roll. We suggest that you make pieces of the wallet. So you make the front, you make the back. So you pre-make them, and then you have them assemble the wallet. So then you give them a strip of duct tape so that they put the sides together, they can put a pocket together. We give them stickers so that they can actually affix it to the wallet and decorate the wallet. And really it's all about giving them an activity to do, and then we talk about how this wallet can be used, why do you need a wallet, linking it back to financial literacy. How do people get organized with their finances? What are some of the items that they might want to put in their wallet? Okay, so that's where this particular idea for the duct tape wallet activity came from. It's how do we get them involved? How do we get them engaged? And how do we carry this through in our other lessons? So they make a duct tape wallet in grade 4. We have other lessons where in social studies they actually make trading cards. And the trading cards then can be put in their wallet. I'm talking and I'm trying to read at the same time. So this is cool. It's nice to see that you've got some great ideas going here. So with these trading cards that they make, they can put it in their wallet. We also have another activity where they look at pets. You know, the idea is, you know, how much it costs for different types of pets. What are the benefits to having a pet? And everybody draws a picture of their pet or the pet that they would like. And again, that pet card can go into the wallet, and then this wallet becomes their financial literacy portfolio as you do these different lessons. Okay, so just an idea there that we do. We toss it out, and on the PowerPoint you'll see that I've given you a picture of what the particular instructions are, the first page anyway, for making the wallet. And if you go on, it'll have steps 4, 5, 6, 7, and all of that. We also have a Duct wallet photo gallery where I've taken pictures of wallets that were made by students so that I can feature them on the website. Definitely get your grade 7 8s to come volunteer. That's a bonus, and they will probably want to make their own wallet also. So good idea, good idea. All right. So talk a lot about the different lesson plans. They're all available on Inspire Financial Learning. I just wanted to give you a sense of what those lesson plans are. When you have time, you can certainly go back on and take a look. All these lessons are free. They're available. They're for you to use. I say, don't just look. If you're teaching grade 4, don't only look at the grade 4 lessons. Look at the grade 5 lessons, because there may be a particular lesson in grade 5 that you like, and you can easily adapt it for your grade 4s. Similarly, if you're in grade 3 and you see a grade 5 lesson that you like, it might be one that you can easily adapt. So take a look at all the different lessons. There's a lot there. Okay. So now I want to show you some of the other online tools that are available. We've covered lessons. We did a 4 corners activity. Here's another tool that you can use. We have a video, Mind Over Money video, and it's called Emma Asks the Expert. And in this particular video, Emma interviews a personal finance expert, and she's asking, some of those key questions, things that she might be interested in. And if we could play that, Louise, that would be great.
As soon as I drop this link in here, folks, the YouTube video is going to start right away. So mind your volume. YouTube's often a lot louder than our microphones are.
Oh, well, isn't that good? It's not available.
Well, isn't that interesting?
And
let me do a quick Google on it. In the meantime, how about I drop in the link for your second one?
Sure.
And you can explain that one.
And I actually just played that this morning. So I don't know what's going on.
We'll figure it out. All right, here's the other link.
I hope it doesn't make a liar out of me. There we go. So this particular, are you all seeing what I'm seeing, that the video is not available?
I'm seeing the Inspire Financial Learning website that has the video embedded into it if I scroll down a little bit. Is everybody else seeing it there? I can see it, but I haven't clicked the play button. And I just did click play, and it seems to be working okay at my end. Cheyenne, Sharon, Shweta, how's it working for you?
Okay.
You've got it? All right.
Okay. So this video was done. We ran a student competition where we asked students to shoot a video telling us what they are doing to get smarter about money. And this video was winner for the grade 4-6 category. Although we're no longer running the competition, I like to show it because I think it's a great summative project. They had a lot of fun, and you can actually see them. They tell you what they've learned. So I hope you all had a chance to see that. It's short, it's brief, a great idea for a project. And when you're done with the video, if you can put a check mark so Louise can then show you the Mind Over Money Emma Ask the Expert video, that'd be awesome. J.D. Hudson, I think it was at Trillium's Lakelands. Is that in Halliburton? Oh, it is your board. There you go. Okay.
Okay, so we're ready to switch on over to the other video by the looks of it. So this one is a direct YouTube link, so it will start right away, hopefully this time.
Okay, so if you've had a chance to see the video, just give us a check mark. Okay, sweetie, I think you had a question maybe?
As I was watching the video, I was just thinking, I have to teach drama this term when I go back, and I'm like, this is also yet another way to show to kids the importance of money. So, well, after showing this video, the two pairs of students can interview, one being a reporter, like role play, one being a reporter and one being a mom or a dad, or like in a role of a mom or a dad or a kid itself, and answering those questions just like Caroline was answering, just so that we get to share their personal views on money management.
That's a great idea. We actually have, and I can't think of the lesson itself right now, but in our secondary lessons, we have one where students go and talk to a financial expert and get financial advice. So that's great that you picked up on that. And that's why I like to show you different things. You can use this as a mind-on, but it's also a good activity that you can take and have your students do. Similarly, if you think about the research where we interviewed students about their money concerns, although that particular research was done for secondary, and we said, you know, we know they're concerned about this. I had a teacher say to me, he went online and he took those research questions and he said to his students, now I want you to do that same survey and do it in the school, and let's see what the students in the school are thinking and what that student population is thinking, and if it's the same as what IEF had found. So I'm going to try and give you as many of these types of ideas as possible by showing you all the different types of tools. Okay? So the next thing I'm going to show you, and I hear this a lot from teachers, I'm very conscious of the time, and I want to make sure I cover everything and then give you time to ask questions or share any information or tips that you have with others. One of the things I get asked a lot is, you have these tools, we teach the skills, but how do the students know that they're doing it right? How do they get to practice? When do they get to apply it? So we came up with a game called Dollar Decisions. And really that's a game where they actually answer some questions, and based on their answers, they see the impact or the consequence. So we give them time to apply some of the learning. In this particular episode, and I think this particular, and I call this episode, this particular game, it is more suited for students from 7 to 12. I think it's more suited for 7 to 12 in that you'll see we have 3 episodes where the students are, you know, starting a summer job, and we've said, okay, they have a summer job, let's give them a goal. So they have a goal. They can either save for a laptop, so they want to save enough money to buy a laptop at the end of the summer, or they can save for their back-to-school expenses, and that is more than stationery and pens and paper. It's also saving for clothing and all that good stuff, or they can save for their post-secondary education. Based on the choices they make for the laptop, they can end up with several different outcomes. So they can go in there and say, I know what laptop I'm going to buy, I know how much I want to spend, I know how I'm going to save my money for it, and at the end it says, I have enough saved, I can buy my laptop, I'm debt-free. To the extreme, it could be, I don't know what I want to buy, oh, I don't have enough money for the laptop, but I'm willing to put on credit, and oh, and I want to buy a laptop that has all the latest bells and whistles, and at the end the consequence would be that they end up with a laptop that has all the bells and whistles, but now they have a lot of debt. Okay, so that's the, I guess, the flow of the questions, and depending on how they answer, they can get different outcomes. At the end of the outcomes, it then points them to, now you have some debt, here are some resources that you might want to look at. Or, great job, you've got a great laptop, you're on the right track, here are some other resources that you want to look at, and it points them back to resources on our Get Smarter About Money site or on Inspire Financial Learning, where it will help them develop some more of those money management skills, where they may do an online quiz, they may read an article, or they may view a video. So that's the dollar decision tool, and when you get a minute, I would recommend that you take a look at it. So the next thing that I wanted to draw to your attention is tools that supplement lesson plans. One of the lesson plans that we have is Trading Market in Ancient Greece. It's a grade 4 lesson. They look at early societies. It looks at the economic and geographic factors that affect trade. History of Money Timeline really complements that particular lesson because it also looks at milestones, money milestones, and then it also has within that particular tool is a line graph where students learn to read the line graph. So it's a nice tool, complements social studies lesson. The other tool, and if at the end we have time, maybe we'll go on the website and I'll ask you to look for it. The other tool that works here and sort of complements, it's not a direct complement to it, is our currency quiz. And this is one where students play a short little quiz, and within that quiz, the questions could be, you get out of a cab and it asks you to pay in shekels. What country are you in? And the country is a flag of 2 different countries, and students pick the country, and depending on how they answer, they get it right or wrong, and it tells them a little fact about that particular answer also. So another great tool. They don't always stand in isolation. Sometimes they can be used to complement a particular lesson that is available, and you just need to see what's available and what's there. Okay. So Inspire Financial Learning, if you look at the website, and I just have a screen capture of the page right now, we have a For Teachers section. So you can go on For Teachers and you can look for resources by lesson plan, and you can select it by grade if you want. Right now it's highlighted for parents because I wanted to bring to your attention that we have a parent section of the site, and under the parent section of the site there are resources that you can also use in the classroom. If you were to go in and by resources select activities, and I've just highlighted a couple of the activities that are available. There's one on delayed gratification. Are any of you, and you can just tell me with a check mark, are you familiar with the marshmallow test? Okay. Okay. So the marshmallow test is all about delayed gratification, and it's a way to teach needs and wants. This particular test, and this was a test that was done, I think, in Britain. You have a few students in the room, and they're each given a marshmallow. And the tester says she's going to leave the room for 5 minutes, and when she comes back, she'll give them a second marshmallow. So it's really interesting because they videotaped the student's reaction when she walked out of the room. There were some that, nibbled around the marshmallow. There were some that picked it up and poked at it because you had to wait, right? You left the room, person wasn't in there, so they could do whatever they wanted, but they knew that if they didn't eat the marshmallow, they would get a second marshmallow when she came back. So teaching delayed gratification, a good way to make that connection between need, want, and waiting for items. Okay, so the marshmallow test, really cool, and it's actually got a little video on there, so you can go on the website and look for that particular activity. There's another one where you do the blind taste test, where you check And this is your consumer awareness, where you have the students maybe look at or taste a brand of ketchup and a no-name brand of ketchup. And then see which one they like and look and compare the cost. And then look at the advertising. And then think about placement on the shelves. Where would you find this in the supermarket? Where do you find branded items? Where do you not find non-brand items? Okay, so these are the types of activities on the parent site, and I think they're easily transferable in the classroom. The other thing I also wanted to point out on the parent side is worksheets. There's one on financial goals. So at their age, they can talk about goal setting and planning, saving for a particular item. There's also shopping lists. I know that there are many activities where you have them go to the store. We also have an activity where they do some shopping. So certainly there's a shopping list or a shopping checklist that's online, and you can certainly take them to that also. So that's all found on the parent site. And if you have young ones of your own, I know we get a lot of questions from parents. How do I talk to my students or my child about money? When should I be talking to them about allowance? All that good stuff. So a lot of the information on there. By all means, take a look at it. You have to teach this. I know that it's a topic where some teachers will say, happy to teach it. I'm very comfortable talking about money, and others are like, well, I'm not quite sure about personal finance myself and what those topics are, and maybe, I could use some help ready to develop my own knowledge. So where would you go to do that? I would suggest that you go to getsmarteraboutmoney.ca. That is our consumer site. This is a site where we say you can go on and get answers to your money questions. Very user-friendly site. Louise has kindly, very, very kindly, put the link to the website in the chat box. I'm going to ask you to take a minute to click on it, go look at it, and I'll ask you to click on a couple sections so that you can see what I'm talking about. So if you were to go on Get Smarter About Money right now.
Chris, do you want me just to drop it in the web tour?
Sure.
And folks, you can actually click on the links right there in the web page that's embedded in Blackboard now. And of course, the other link is there if you have any trouble.
So if you were to go to Get Smarter About Money, and you look at bank accounts. Under Investing, top tab, Investing Bank Accounts. You'll see Bank Account Basics, how to open an account, how to talk about fees. Very simple instructions. These are areas where you can also come and point your students to this information, depending on what it is you're teaching and what grade they are. Okay, so that investing section, if you look at it, really talks about different investing products. So it's bank accounts, bonds, ETFs, mutual funds, all that good stuff. Planning is where you will learn all about budgeting, saving money, getting advice, understanding taxes. And then under the life event section, this is where we know that many people are looking for information based on certain things that are happening in their life. So if you were teaching high school, I would automatically tell you to take a look at life after high school, because in there we have a section where students are saving money to continue their education, or maybe they're saving money because they want to move out, or they want to purchase their own home, or they're getting a new job. So lots of different types of information under the different sections. What's really cool is under Tools and Calculators. Take a moment and look at the Tools and Calculators section. If you go to the infographics, and I know I'm just speeding along here. If you go to the infographics, as I mentioned, IEF has a lot of research, and we summarize a lot of our research findings in infographics. So for yourself, maybe, you might be interested in hearing what Canadians said about saving and how they save, and look at the infographics on savings and the art of avoidance. Or maybe you want to take a look at the Youth-onomics infographics, which is financial literacy in high school, where this is where we summarized the results from interviewing or surveying the 400 high school students. All that information is found online right here, and it's there for you. And if you're looking for information on a particular topic, I would highly suggest you go on the website. Now, what I thought we would do next is actually play a game. And I can't play this game with you, but I think it's great that we're on the site and I can tell you where to go to find the game. Under Tools and Calculators, if you go to Quizzes and you select Cranial Cash Clash, let me know if you can't find it. This particular game is what we call a self-assessment tool. Federal Task Force on Financial Literacy, when they went across the country and spoke to Canadians, in their findings, what they came back and said was that Canadians need self-assessment tools because they don't know what they don't know. And Cranial Cash Clash is what I would say is a self-assessment tool. If you look at it, it's developed like a game. I'm hoping you can all find it because it doesn't look like anyone's put up a red flag to say you're having troubles. And it's got several different episodes. Scroll through. You might want to, you might be interested in the insurance episode, unsure, insure, or you might be interested in playing. And this one I call this, a fun one, pretty generic. Everyone can play this. Family Financial Face-Off. We might be playing Gift Thrift. Select an episode and play it. 8 short questions. As you play it, notice what happens. There's a timer. There's a brain. So you have 30 seconds. If you answer within the 30 seconds, great. The faster you answer, the more points you get. If you don't answer within 30 seconds, you don't get any bonus points. Okay? If you answer question correctly, the brain jumps up and down, and it rains money. If you answer the question incorrectly, they tell me the brain shrinks, but maybe it shrinks very subtly because I can't always tell that the brain is shrinking. At the end of your questions, when you've played and you've reached the end of your 8 questions, remember if you got any questions wrong, what that question would be. And you will see at the end, it'll say, you've gotten this trophy, you scored this much. And it'll say, based on your progress, you might want to review the following resources. So let's say we had played that drama and we got a question wrong on credit. It will point me to a resource on credit so that I can go and develop or learn a little bit more about credit based on how I had responded. So take a minute or 2. I think you'll need about 2 minutes. Take 2 minutes, play the game, and when you're done, just give us a little check mark or a flag or something and let us know that you're done. Okay? Which episode did you play, Cheyenne? How did you do on investment shopping? In secondary, I have had teachers play Cranial Cash Clash as a minds-on with their students before they start a lesson. Now, they can play it as a class. I've had teachers use clickers to do this. Oh good, you did well. So it's another tool out there. I don't think it's one that really you might want to use in elementary, but certainly it is one that you can use for yourself. And depending on your students, it may be one that you could use. So just so that you know, this particular type of assessment tool is available. So while we're now on the site, I think we'll stay on the site. And I'm going to ask you to now go to the very top of the screen on the website. If you look at the top, you'll see getsmarteraboutmoney.ca blog. If you click on that, and if you click on Masters of Money, Caroline Cakebread is one of our Masters of Money. She is the person that Emma had interviewed. Okay, so we have a roster of personal finance experts, and you'll see that Alison Griffith posted her most recent blog. And the reason I like to point this out is that for yourself, this is, I think, where you would want to come and look for information. It's very timely. We post all the time. Our finance experts are writing all the time. So you can go on here and take a look at the different blogs. And that's available for you. Again, if you were to go back to the top of the screen, similarly how I showed you to get to the getsmarteraboutmoney.ca blog, you can easily move to inspirefinanciallearning.ca.
Sorry, Chris, I'm just going to redrop that link in there because the web tour froze. So I'm going to put you back on the Inspire Financial.
I'm sorry?
I'm going to put you back on the Inspire Financial Literacy page because the web tour froze there for a second.
Okay. So really, it's an easy way to get between our sites because we have 4 different websites. We have our getsmarteraboutmoney.ca. We have our getsmarteraboutmoney.ca blog. We have our Inspire Financial Learning site, which is where you would be getting most of your teaching resources from here. And then we have getsmarterwithfunnymoney.ca. This particular website really is tied to a secondary school program that we have. It's not available for elementary. In Get Smarter with Funny Money is one where we actually have a comedian go out to the schools and he gives an assembly to the grades 11th and 12th, all on money management. Those students are thinking and planning for post-secondary, so the messages that he has really resonates with them, and that's Get Smarter with Funny Money. But Inspire Financial Learning is where you need to be on our site to get our teaching resources. So highly recommend that you go on here, take a look. I know I've spoken a lot, and I'm going to end by showing you a video. You know what? I could probably tell you how to find this video. So if you're on inspirefinanciallearning.ca, in the search box, if you were to type in, "Can we count you in?" you should get our video. Can we count you in? Short, sweet. I will end with the video. I thank you for doing that. And then I will ask you to complete a post survey. Just give us your feedback on the session. Really appreciate it. And feel free to email me. You can go to the Contact Us button on Inspire Financial Learning, and your email messages will come to me. And that is, the Contact Us button is at the very bottom of the screen. So take a moment, watch the video, and then if you can please complete the post survey, that would be great. And I will be happy to answer any questions after that. Great, Shweta. If you wouldn't mind completing the survey, and Louise has posted the survey on the chat box right there, that'd be great. If you have any questions, happy to take it.
Thank you, Chris. I was able to skip through the rest of your slides there because we stayed right on the Inspire Financial Learning website. We're able to click through all those links as well as the Get Smarter About Money sites too. There's so many rich resources there. Before Syria jumps on and says her thanks and good night, I just want to let everyone know that if they could take a second to complete the OTF feedback survey as well when you're logging out, that would be fantastic. And absolutely, Chris has been fantastic, and all of the resources that she shared tonight will be posted to the resource page for this session tomorrow. However, that's just a small number of the resources that are available through IEF's websites, both the Education Inspire Financial Learning one as well as all the other ones. So do take some time and wander through there. And we've got lots more upcoming sessions as well, so always click on the calendar and see what else is available that might fit your schedule. Thanks, everybody. Over to you, Syria.
Thank you, Louise, and thank you so much, Chris, for sharing so many creative and effective resources on financial literacy, generously provided by IEF on their websites. They certainly do support teachers, and hopefully you can engage your students in making informed decisions about how to manage money. I'd like to thank each of you for giving of your time tonight and participating in the webinar. As Louise mentioned, we do appreciate your feedback, so please take a few minutes to fill out the feedback form, and do share the OTS Connect site link with your colleagues, and encourage them to sign up for upcoming sessions. And of course, I would certainly encourage each of you to do the same. Looking forward to seeing you in other sessions. And once again, Chris, thank you so much for a very effective session, and good night to all. Stay warm and out of the snow.
Thanks, Syria. That was great. Thank you, everyone. I hope you got a lot from this. I know we have a lot, so it will take a little bit of time to digest, but thank you and have a good night.